Mi-Soul at Southport Heritage Weekender, and we're with a soul legend, Miss Jean Carne. Welcome. I don't really know where to begin with you because you've got such a huge catalogue of music, so many classic songs. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is the UK audiences, because you've come here a lot, haven't you? You've come to the UK a lot to perform. Do you get the same sort of support in the States?
Well, it's a different kind of appreciation in the States, but I never refuse an invitation to UK.
And you always get a warm reception, as you did today.
Always.
Fantastic reception.
Always.
So let me go back to the beginning, because you started off as a jazz vocalist, is that right?
Recording-wise, yeah.
Back in the day, I think you had a couple of independent sevens, and then you did some stuff with Norman Connors and people like that. Mm-hmm. So how did it all begin for you? Where did it all start?
In the church choir at 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to lead songs, and then I took piano lessons starting at 5, and played different instruments. I was the accompanist for church choirs on piano and organ, then majored in music in college.
And was it always something that you wanted to do? Did you know this was going to be your career, or?
It literally started before I could remember.
Okay.
So I guess it was written.
And what was your first break? When did you first actually start getting serious about it?
Oh, maybe from the beginning as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you met Norman Connors. How did you meet Norman Connors?
I met Norman Connors at the Village Gate.
Okay.
Yeah, he was about to become a solo. He was leaving Pharaoh Saunders, and he mentioned to me that.
And you met him at that moment when he was starting to go out on his own and become a producer?
And I was about to leave Doug's organization. So.
And yeah, because obviously you did the Doug and Jean albums and stuff.
Yeah.
So you were doing jazz, and then that was a pivotal moment when you met Norman Connors, because then you started moving in. We did some jazz stuff with him, but you also then started moving into more soulful stuff, which then obviously led on to a huge catalogue of classics.
Yeah, well, I did soul stuff with Earth, Wind and Fire when their first 2 albums on Warner Brothers.
Yeah, because you guested on loads of people's albums over the years. But when you started to do sort of lead vocals as soul yourself, how was that? How did that feel?
Oh, it's wonderful. It was like the next step.
Was it something you'd imagined you'd be doing, or did you think you were going to stay in jazz? Or?
No, I knew it would spread, it would diversify. Yeah.
So you had huge amount of success with Norman Connors, and then obviously there's the Philly years. So how did that come about? How did the whole Gamble and Huff thing come about?
Gamble said that his neighbor gave him the first album that Doug and I did. And he said he followed my career until he heard that I left Doug's organization. Then he called me to the company, and it was the night of an Ali fight in Atlantic City. And we sat through the fight and talked, and he didn't get to go because everybody else had left the building and they had taken way to Atlantic City. And we talked, and I went with the label after that.
And you recorded quite a number of albums and produced loads and loads and loads of classics through the Philly years. And you also worked with Al Johnson, of course.
Yeah.
I'm Back for More, which is another big classic. And Grover Washington, and the list goes on and on. Is there any particular favourites that you've worked with in terms of collaborations?
Oh, wow. I love them all, I think,
And out of the Philly years, is there any particular songs that hold special memories for you? 'Cause, I can't even list. There's too many that you did during the Philly years. But
well, I guess I have to pay homage to Don't Let It Go to Your Head, because Gamble and Huff sang backgrounds on that with me.
And was that unusual for them to do that?
Yeah.
And so then you had a brief period in Motown. You had a Motown album, Trust Me, which is another fantastic album. So how did the whole Philly thing come to an end, and then you moved on to? Well,
Gamble had moved me to TSOP Records, me, the OJs, a few of the other groups. And he came to me and told me that he wanted to slow down and do some other things. So he asked, well, what label would you like to go with? So I thought, well, since Motown was a family-run label and Philly was like my family, so I thought that would be it. So actually, the president of Philly International negotiated my deal. with Motown.
Oh, okay. And that was, you worked with Al Johnson on that album as well, didn't you?
Well, actually, Norman and I co-produced it.
But I think he co-writes some of the songs on that
Yeah,
album.
yeah, he wrote the title tune, Trust Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had a lot of success in the later years with Closer Than Close, Early Morning Love and all that sort of stuff. So you've continued throughout your career to be incredibly successful. So how have you managed to do that?
It's just divine intervention.
And you're still recording today, aren't you? You're still,
Yeah.
Have you got another album coming out?
I have 2 in the can.
Wow. How long ago were they recorded? Recently, or?
Recently.
And are you self-releasing them, or are you going through a label, or?
Yeah, they'll both be through labels.
And when can we hope to have them? When will they be out?
We're still working on them, tweaking them, so not long.
And what kind of sounds are there? What kind of music is it?
Well, one is remakes of Philly product. We got permission from Gamble to do
Okay.
that. The other is originals.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking time to see us at Mi-Soul, and it's a pleasure to have you back again.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
I got a little freakiness inside, and you know that the man